Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another edition of the Wyntis Hall Show. I have with me tonight Miss Claire McClinton. We're going to give people a few minutes to join and make sure while you're joining in, please share the show. And oh, hold on, Mickey did something. Oh, maybe he don't know he's still connected to that box down there. Okay. Well, he know now. He farther away. It's going to unconnect.
Oh,
Okay. Let us share this show out, everyone. And then just give people a few minutes. And we'll be right back with you. Hey, JoJo. Hey, Gutter Black. Miss Francine, Melissa, Nancy. Vince, is that Vicente? Did I say that right? Kathy Clean. I've been running, but let me get to sharing. Sharing and running. Running and sharing. That's all I do. As we sit in silence for just a second while we share this good show out. It's going to be a good show. This is actually my first time for those of you that are coming on. It's my first time ever sitting down with Miss Claire McClinton, and I'm excited about it. I really am. I'm excited to get to know Miss Claire McClinton, the lady that I always see. And I know it's a story behind that, and I can't wait to dive into it. Let me share just a little bit more, and then people will gradually join in as they see that 810 is on the air again. But thank you, everyone that has joined in with us so far. Oh, I see the title Mickey put up here. Special guest, Miss Claire McClinton, OG Water Warrior.
Mm-hmm.
So you an OG tonight.
Okay. Okay.
You an OG tonight, Miss Claire McClinton. She's an OG. Please share the show. Like, subscribe with us. Hit that like button on the YouTube side, please. All of you. And as I told Miss Claire McClinton when before we went live, I said for the first time, well, maybe the second time ever, I don't have any questions. Nothing is scripted about this show. I just want to get to know Miss Claire McClinton. So for all of you thought it was gonna be a big bang, shapow, pow, pow, no hot seat questions. Unless she bring them up and then we may, dive off into some hot seat questions. One more second here. Give me about 30 more seconds. I gotta do, I don't have an assistant, Miss Claire McClinton, because Mickey won't hire me one. I would have to do all of this if I had an assistant.
Mm-hmm.
You know how that go, don't you?
Mm-hmm.
He call you a nickname, though. I ain't gonna say it on air, though. I tell you when we get off the air.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you said it.
Mm-hmm. Family name.
People call you Squeak.
Mm-hmm.
See, learn something. Learn something all the time. Squeak. I ain't gonna call her that because I don't know her that well yet. But by the end of the show, I'll be calling her Squeak too. I'll be calling her Squeak too. All right, so Miss Claire McClinton, water warrior, community activist, mother, sister,
yes,
friend,
yep, grandmother.
Tell us about yourself, Miss Claire McClinton.
Well, there's nothing special to tell other than, I'm my story is so much like so many of us African Americans here in Flint. My parents came up here from the South.
What part of the South?
Mississippi.
Okay.
And they came up here in the 40s looking for a better way of life. So that's a story that many hundreds of thousands of here in Flint. That's our story.
Yes,
They
ma'am.
came up here to get in the factories, wanting a better life. Um, they moved into the St. John area,
Mhm.
and I was the second of seven.
Oh,
And uh, so they worked at General Motors. When I was born, the union had got in there. We had good wages and benefits. We had health care, dental, and all that. And we used to call Flint the Promised Land.
really?
Yes, because the people in Flint, due to union wages and benefits, were among the highest paid workers in the world. That was black workers as well.
Okay.
And so um, the union movement and the outstanding black leaders that we had back then, like Edgar Holt and others, and I don't want to start naming because I'm gonna miss somebody.
Right.
Uh, Floyd McCree and others, they, even as they were beneficiaries of the union wages and benefits, they were also strong social justice minded people. We had a strong NAACP.
Mhm.
Um, we were the first city of our size to have an African American mayor here in Flint. We were the first city to pass an open housing ordinance. Flint. Now it hasn't been executed like it should, but
Mhm.
we did that. And I think right now some of us have lost our uh, mojo. We don't forgot who we were,
Yes, ma'am.
and we sitting back in some instances, waiting for, I don't know what we waiting for, but our history tells us that we have the capacity and the mindset to go after what is due us.
Amen.
So we need to reignite that spirit.
Right.
It's in our DNA.
She says the
Let's
same
go get
thing,
it.
just a little bit differently. Like, why are we waiting for someone to ride in here on a white horse and save us? Like you said, it's in our DNA.
It is. It's in us, and we got to just rediscover
Mhm.
those voices that
Okay.
we inherited. I mean, it's not something we got to create.
Right.
We already got it. We just got to find a way to use it.
Mhm.
And right now, I feel like our community is sort of like in a circular firing squad. We going after each other, and some of it's justified. Don't get me wrong,
Yes, ma'am.
but we we need to start thinking in terms of what's wrong and not who's wrong. When we get to the what and we understand the
I like
system
that.
and the political power that we're up against,
Mhm.
then we can get to the who.
I like that. We're gonna put a pin in that. Oh, Mr. Jordan is back quickly. Miss Claire McClinton, before we get to what you so deeply said, I want to put a pin in that and come back to that. How did you get started in politics?
Well, again, that's sort of like the history of African Americans in Flint and everything. I am a uh, child of the 60s.
Okay.
When I was in my prime, the 60s were going on. And you had to be living under a rock not to get swept up in that.
Okay.
In the, I mean, Martin Luther King got assassinated. The war in Vietnam, all of that was live and popping when I was coming up. And so
Wow.
you had to be sitting up under a rock not to get swept in
Okay.
to those movements that were out there.
Mhm.
And so for me, um, it's just something that I haven't been able to let go of, you know.
Mhm.
And so that's
That's just
basically, it's
basically it.
nothing
Okay.
like me per se. It was the conditions that were presented to our generation, and we decided to step up to the plate
Now
and
what?
embrace it.
I, okay.
Okay.
Now, were you a part of those protests and marches? Did you participate in those back then?
I did. I did participate in some. I was a student for a while. I was got a little bit involved in the anti-war issue of Vietnam at that time,
Okay.
and it's rising and developing the anti-war movement that's going on about the war in Gaza.
Okay.
That is a that's like full circle coming back to another type of war that a lot of the young people are stepping up
Hmm.
and challenging
Right.
the immorality of it.
That's what we see the protests all around the
Yes, we
country.
seeing it because uh any of these struggles are at the end of the day, it's about the human condition.
Yes, ma'am.
It is that's what it's about.
Hmm.
And so yes, I was part of that. I was part of when I worked at General Motors. I
Okay.
did my time and retired.
Okay.
I was involved in the
I was
union.
just about to ask that. You had to be involved in the union.
Yeah. And so we we just try to uh look at what's presented to us and do what we got to do to provide for generations to come.
Okay. Okay. So, moving towards the city, how long or how long have you been involved in city council and coming down to city council? Because that's where I've seen you the most at.
Yes. Well, going to city council meetings is pretty new for me.
Really?
I was not no because I was working and
Okay.
I wasn't with that.
Okay.
What brought me down to city council was ARPA funds.
Okay.
That's what brought me. And I'm not going to pretend I love being down there at city council. I don't.
Well, at least she honest.
I do not like going down there. But uh, the ARPA money is something that is an unusual situation for
Yes, it
us.
is.
And we can't let other people hijack those dollars.
Absolutely. Amen. Mhm.
And so we started, I belong to a group called Democracy Defense League.
Mhm.
And we didn't form, we came together about the emergency manager. That's
Mhm.
how we got started. Uh, with Bishop Jefferson and others, and we were successful in getting it on the ballot, but Snyder
I
usurped
had
it,
to
and that's
put that in
another
your
whole
group.
story. But anyway, when we were fighting against emergency managers, we never laid down and dreamed that we would be fighting something that would conse- consequently turn into a poison problem, poison water problem. We were just fighting for democracy.
Right.
We said you don't have the right to send an individual in here and set aside our local government,
Mhm.
a dictator.
So the movement started fighting, like you said, the emergency manager.
Yes, that's how we got
Okay.
involved in it.
Okay.
We didn't have no idea. We never laid down and dreamed it would turn into poisoning our city. That we couldn't even make that up.
No.
But because of that, that was the prelude to the poisoning was the stripping of our democracy, ladies and gentlemen.
Mhm.
And we've learned some things through this process that we didn't even want to know. Why did Snyder see? This is what we mean when we say what's wrong, not just who's wrong.
Yes, ma'am.
What was the purpose of even sending an emergency manager to our city and other cities throughout Michigan?
So at the time that the emergency manager came in, you didn't see a need for it at that time?
For what?
The emergency manager coming in, or it was just a problem once he got here and the things that he
Oh,
was trying to do?
absolutely. We was vehemently opposed to having someone sent here
Okay.
to run our city as if we was incapable of running our own city.
Okay.
And that was some of the, when you in a war and you in a battle, you have to look at what is the enemy, how do the enemy try to get their views accepted by the public? Well, they were saying things like, well, those African Americans is illiterate, they incompetent, they running their cities through the ground, they stealing money, and that's why they in a financial crisis. Those were the type of uh, things that they would say to get people to say, well, yeah, send an emergency manager in there and clean that city up.
So they were putting false narratives out for the people to
Absolutely. The
believe that's
narrative
okay.
that they were putting out there to, because if we look at the cities that were taken over by emergency manager, all of them were majority minority cities.
What did Dr. Padroni say? I can't see too. It shows why local democracy is necessary. Local democracy would have never allowed and later would have stopped the poisoning. That's true. That's very true.
But of course, we all know it's not news to anybody that the emergency manager gave the order to push the button, even though we had the mayor push the button, Walling, but the emergency manager was the one that gave the order, and it was also supported by the treasurer of the state of Michigan and the governor.
So here you are, Miss Claire McClinton.
Here we sit. Mm-hmm.
You started off fighting you had the Democracy Defense League.
Mm-hmm.
You started off fighting the emergency manager, which turned into the poisoning of a city.
We didn't even have a clue that we would be faced with something like that. And I remember us gathering signatures back before Democracy Defense League, the group that was doing the signature gathering. And I'm gonna tell you, being an activist sometimes it's just some dog work in the trenches.
Right. Shouts out to JoJo. Thank you for watching, JoJo.
And so we were called Stand for Democracy at that time. ASME was a big factor in helping us to get signatures and be successful. But Bishop Bernadette Jefferson was the leader of that. And in that drive to to get rid of the emergency manager law, you had all kinds of people supporting that effort. I mean, it was Democrats, Republicans, Independent, Green Party, Libertarian, because nobody wanted to give up democracy.
Right, because they probably looked at it, if it can happen to them, they can do it to us.
Yes, it's our right. I mean, what have we got if we don't have our democracy?
You're right.
For you to send someone here and set aside your city council and your mayor, they set them aside and they came in and they made decisions for our city. And most of the decisions that were made were decisions that allowed them to sell off our assets. Remember, they even sold Santa Claus.
What you mean they sold Santa Claus?
You know the Santa Claus we had on top of City Hall. They even sold that too. And a bunch of us got together and put, and I mean, that's how low, how low can you go? I mean, and so, so we bunch bid for it and got the bid and put it in storage. And that not too long ago it was brought back out. But we was trying to do things to stimulate the imagination of a people, like how low can they go? That's so that's how it started. Then we got Democracy Defense League after Snyder reverse. The people in Michigan voted no, we don't want that. Out of 83 counties, all but 6 voted they did not want. And we talking about all up in the Upper Peninsula, Northern Michigan, the whites, the Republicans, they all went out there and campaigned. They say, we do not want this in Michigan. So Snyder and them tweaked it, and so we still got emergency manager, just a different number, just change the number. Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. And they always, like you said, they sold Santa Claus, and I was told, actually by our current mayor, that when emergency manager comes in, they look for your assets to sell off your biggest assets. And I was told that the only thing that we really have now in Flint, our biggest asset, is our city hospital.
Well, we better keep an eye on that. But aside from that, and we on our way to privatization of the water.
Mhm.
That's the crown jewel of any city.
The water.
The water, and that's the biggest public asset is the water.
Mm.
And they're well on their way to season our water. Well, we already got the KWA and all, and what does that mean for us in our everyday life? What it means is this: if you take $1 and break it down to why your water bill is so high, it's because 6 cent, 60% out of every dollar is going to pay bonds. They finagled and got us into debt over our
Yes.
water.
Yes.
That's what they did. And
Mhm.
that's why we're not paying for water. We're paying bonds. We're
Absolutely.
paying Wall Street.
Right.
That's
Absolutely.
what we're doing.
We just had a man sit in that chair last week by the name of Jordan Sheridan that's saying the exact same thing that you said. Bonds. They happy to give us them bonds
Mm-hmm.
because they gonna get plenty of money back on
They
top of
making
that.
hand over fist the money.
Mhm.
And we believe, and I know everybody really believes in their heart, that water, you've heard people say water is a human right. Water should not be put on the market for sale to make a profit over something that we need to live.
Live by. Keyword live by. Mhm.
So the so political decisions have consequences on our everyday lives.
Yes, ma'am.
So if we think we can just go along and be happy go lucky, politics is running our lives.
Mhm. You're
So
right.
we've got
She's
to be
right.
political, but we got to understand what we're dealing with.
Mhm.
And again, our city, and there's reasons why we don't have the leadership we once did. And I don't even want to go into that, but what I want to say is if you're from Flint and you was born and raised here, there's something in you about your passion for social justice and humanity that demands that you step up and say no to the inhumanity of it all.
That's it, Miss Claire. That's it. It's something in us
It is.
that can never be taken away.
That's right.
No matter where you go, it's just in us.
It's in
It's
us.
in our DNA, as she said. So, I know we're jumping around a little bit, but we went from fighting the emergency manager, and then we have the poison water. Then we were hit with the COVID crisis.
Yes.
So we got all of these crises back to back.
Yes.
And then lo and behold, here comes this $94 million to save this poverty-stricken city.
Mm-hmm.
And we gonna help everybody that's got a blue tarp. And we gonna save the people with this money and help them keep their houses and pay their water bills. Oh, we gonna save everybody. But it was one lady that came every week to every council meeting, demanding, not asking, demanding that city council put $15 million more into the pot for home improvement. And that lady is sitting right next to me, Miss Claire McClinton. Why were you so passionate about that?
Well, let me say that even though I've been there every week, I'm not the only. We had some conversations with community groups,
Okay.
and we said, now this, and this has been almost a year ago, and we said, now wait, if we don't intervene, this money is going to go go away. What can we do? What do we need to demand in order to secure us some part of this money?
Something.
And I also want to say, uh, what also prompted it was that they were lying to the community, and a lot of people had bought into the lie that they could only use those ARPA funds for third party 501c3. That's not true. That's not true.
Well, wait a minute, wait a minute. So you saying that because I was actually told that too. We
Yeah.
can't give money directly to citizens. Even though we get, Donald Trump did sign his name on the check. We
Mhm.
get IRS refunds directly from the treasurer of the United States.
Yes.
But all of a sudden this ARPA money couldn't come directly to the citizens.
Right. Well, that is not true. And I'm so sick of trying to beat back that tail, because here's the thing. They said we have to have a fiduciary. You do not need a third party. The city can be the fiduciary. Put out bids
Mhm.
for new roofs,
Mhm.
windows,
Mhm.
porches, and everything else, and let the city be the fiduciary. You don't have to give. Why you got to give it to the G card? No, I mean, don't get me wrong. G card do some good things, but with this money, they can peel off 15 million more dollars, put out bids, and people. And if that were true, why is it that when the 80 something million dollars came here for pipe replacement, they didn't use a third party?
They
Oops,
sure did.
oops, 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 oops.
Miss Claire, I like Miss Claire. She got some shade in it. They sure didn't, did they?
No, they bid it out to contractors.
Huh.
And they went out there. I mean, don't get me wrong. We know that process had its challenges,
Right.
and there's some, things that wasn't quite going smoothly like it should. But that was 85 million whole dollars, or 80 something million. I don't know the exact. But the city was the fiduciary, and the city put bids out, and there was a number of contractors out there doing that. We can put out bids. A number of contractors can go out there and fix roofs and everything. And here's a question too: is a tarp on and a lot of people been going out surveying, talking to people, and they say blight is one of the main. This is the feedback, that blight is the main thing. Is a tarp on a roof blight?
In my opinion, it is.
I mean,
Yeah,
so you got a bucket for blight.
yeah.
Go and use some of that blight money to fix up and repair and
Well, they building
rehab some of the
they
homes.
building chalets with that.
Well,
Everybody got money across the city for blight.
and they're duplicating services
Yes, ma'am,
because
they
you
are.
got that.
Thank you.
Yes, you're paying these people to do the same thing. You got these people over here doing the same thing. It just makes no sense, and they're insulting our intelligence.
Yes, they are. Yes, they are. And I'm so glad that you're sitting here saying that, because it's they, as the young kids say, they playing in our face.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes you angry in the inside,
Yes.
knowing that you got the Department of Health and Human Services that keeps track of all of this, and they have a registry and they can do this and this and this, but then you giving 125,000 or 50,000 or 25,000 to duplicate the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
And they giving away this, not they, the city. I want to be specific on they.
Mm-hmm.
The city is giving away this money, this ARPA money, with no accountability.
No accountability.
But when the residents go to and apply for their money, how do you feel knowing that you got to show the deed to your house, your property taxes is paid up, your driver's license, birth certificate? I mean, you got to show everything.
You do.
What's your take on all of that? Why do you have to go through so many hoops?
Well, I hold the city council responsible for allowing that to happen.
Okay.
because this is what we have told them. And again, we met with several groups in the community, and we made our focus on the rehab and rehabilitation of the homes. Um, you're losing population, people walking away from their homes. What was said to me, you were there at the meeting when the woman got up and said, I was thinking about putting in to run for first ward so I could be a council person, I could get my house fixed. That's sad.
That's real sad.
That was the only way she could see where she could
Get
do
her
for
house.
herself is to be there. But those folks are there representing us. And so I think that we all, I mean, so much is we're being hit with so many things at once, until everybody got to, like one of a speaker the other night at our forum said, like Coleman Young said, if you see a good fight, get in it.
I like that.
If you see a good fight, get in it. If you don't want to join Democracy Defense League or some of the other groups that's out here, boots on the ground, organize your own.
That's right.
Just get in it. Get
Just
in
get
there.
in the
Let's
fight.
get in there.
Right.
Let's get in there and get after it.
Because everybody should have, and I say this a lot, the same common goals. The water, the pipes, and the ARPA money.
And the ARPA money. And the thing about ARPA, and as I said, I was never a attendee of city council meetings. I mean, we started going to the meetings when the ARPA money came. You know,
and you come so much. I go in like, well, Miss Claire McClinton.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. You don't know what a burden, what a struggle it is to crawl up in there. But it's an urgency thing as well. Because let's remember, the ARPA money must be allocated by December 31st of this year. So we up on a time crunch. I remember when Councilman Mays proposed the 15 million, it got voted down. But he said, I'm going to come back again and again till we get this done. Because when they vote that down, then come back and say, I want to pass a resolution for 15 million plus $1. That's a new resolution. Keep at it until, because our time is running out. And I am sorry, these new people that's running for council, you're stepping into a situation that's urgent. It's not business as usual.
That's right.
And all of us got to step up our game. We can't do what we've been doing. We got to step it up. And I'm wanting to know, the new or the old council, will you put a resolution on the floor, a motion on the floor, and pass a resolution for $15 million more for home repair and rehabilitation?
And that's a good
You're
question
losing population. People walking away from their homes. They can't afford to fix them up. And then we have another layer of issues as it relate to, we're hearing that some 8,000, this is just a rumor, allegedly, but it's very believable. May be losing their homes in the next round of foreclosures. They've never investigated the previous foreclosure. Are y'all scared of Deb Cherry? I'm asking.
You said 8,000? 8,000 more people may be losing their homes.
But if they didn't fix the previous foreclosure, because we've asked you to tell the lawyer, Attorney Kim, to investigate that previous sale of the 190 homes of Flint residents. That the investors came here. There were 220 homes 190 of them were Flint. The rest were Burton and other municipalities.
Mhm.
The county clerk notified those municipalities. Here's some homes in in your area that's up for foreclosure. They never sent that notice to Flint.
That's when they
That's
say
what we hear.
Flint never had the right of first refusal.
Exactly.
Okay, that's where that comes from.
That's right. That's where that comes from. Now, why isn't a council person saying, wait a minute, wait a second? How dare the county treasurer, not inform us so we can exercise our options? Even if they didn't have right of first refusal, we got ARPA money. We could have bid 1.3 million and bought residence homes. I'm just saying.
I still believe, and I've said it before, that somebody in City Hall knew about it. It's just no way. It's no way that many homes in the city of Flint for sale, and no, it. You just telling me it just went straight to the treasurer's office and nobody at City Hall knew.
Well, we've asked for an investigation. We've asked for Attorney Kim to look into it because the whole situation stinks to high heaven.
I think I need to go looking for
I'm
Deb
just
Cherry.
saying.
Now, she's not. Is she running again?
I heard she's not running again.
Okay. Okay. I think I heard on the news that Sam Muma is seeking that position. Okay. Well, we're just gonna keep moving along.
Let's keep on moving.
Okay, let's just keep on moving. I seen her look down. That was my cue to keep on moving. So, 8,000 people. Do you think that has to do with? Now, let me back up. 2017. I was just getting back into politics again. I started watching Maurice Davis.
Mm-hmm.
He said, if y'all are on here, if you don't hear anything else I'm saying, make sure you pay your water bill and make sure you pay your taxes,
Mm-hmm.
because what's coming down the road, you're not going to be able to stop it.
Mm.
And now we're hearing that the city of Flint, they're putting liens on people's houses for them not paying their water bills.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that plays a big part in these 8,000 homes that allegedly will be going foreclosed?
I don't have any documentation, but the way things are going is very believable, and we're gonna have to brace ourselves for a big fight. And all of you all that's on the council and things like that, and you're good people, but you have got to step up the game. We cannot allow another devastation of our residents. We already paying the highest water bills in the country.
Right. And then one of our viewers, Mr. J.B. Brown, said, and they're proposing an increase on property taxes. Michael Clack said at first they were telling us not to pay the water bills. Someone said they were loving the knowledge. Me too. That's why I had no questions. I just wanted to hear Miss Claire McClinton talk because you're a wealth of knowledge.
Well, I appreciate the opportunity to come on here because, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, boys and girls, we are in trouble. We are in trouble. And we've got to look at the situation, analyze the situation, and make the move for ourselves. Mm-hmm. Like the ARPA money, we said that's our money. That's our money. We kept hollering that's our money. And now they sitting up here talking about we got to have a third party. We got to have. No, you don't. The city can be the fiduciary. You was for the pipe replacement. Why can't you be there for home improvement?
It made no sense to have a compliance firm, Ernst & Young, and then also have a 12-member ARPA committee.
But at the end of the day, you can have Ernst & Young, you can have a ad hoc committee and all of that, but our council is the final arbiter and the last word. We have told the council, you're letting other influences run what you should be doing. Mm-hmm. And we're not going to be playing with those of y'all that wants to run. I'm just saying, we can't
Absolutely.
afford to.
No,
We only got till December 31st
no more
to make
friends and
and
family.
that's just a small thing. I
Mhm.
mean, but we just can't allow ourselves to keep being pushed back and stomped on and ran out of our city. We can't. We can't let it happen.
No, we can't. And that's powerful. And when we first came on, we got a lot of more viewers since we first started.
Mhm.
You said a statement earlier, and I said we're gonna put a pin in it and come back to it. You said something like until we start focusing on the
What?
instead of the
Who?
then we can move forward.
We can move forward.
Can you elaborate on that, please?
Well, it's just that we have to get into the issues to the point where we understand what we're dealing with. When we were dealing with I'll give you an example. The emergency manager and Snyder, and we said, well, there were efforts to recall Snyder, which I participated a little bit in that, but we had to change that law, get rid of that law to give him that power. We had to take his power away. Yeah, it was him, but it was the law itself. We had to snatch that away.
Okay. The foundation is that
Yes,
we had the emergency manager,
we
but he
know.
was sitting
Yeah,
on the law.
we know.
Right.
We all agree Snyder wasn't no good.
Mhm.
There's no argument there. But the what is what we had to go after to deny him that power. I don't care if it's Mickey Mouse sitting up there in the government. We have to take that power away from that office. That's the what that we had to deal with. And as a result of that, and again I say there were people you never thought you'd be in a room with who said, we're not going to let them steal our democracy. We're not going to let Michigan be a dictatorship. That was what they were. They was all, it was all kind of crazy, conflicting philosophies about this, that, and the other. But we came together on that what, that danger, and that's how we were able to come together. Not we all human beings and we all humanitarians and we love each other, but that's not what brought us together. What brought us together was we had a common enemy, and that was that law.
Right.
That was that law. So that's what I mean by what, and then go for the who.
We have so many burning fires around the city.
We do.
What what do we tackle first? I don't know, Miss Claire. We got the water, we got the pipes, we
Yes.
got the ARPA money being mismanaged. We have corruption on all levels of city government. We have a failing school district.
Yes.
Miss Claire, what?
Well, here's one little sliver of strategy, if you will. Everybody up for election. Everybody is up for election, from the president, Congress, Senate, our House here in Michigan, our state senators. All of y'all running trying to represent us. We need to flip the script on these candidates and say to them, bam, 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 bam. This is what we want, or else. Now, we had a little example of that during the primaries because the Arab American community spearheaded a campaign to vote non-committed in the Democratic primary.
Okay.
And
I heard about that.
yes, and they led it, but other people who are not happy with the Democratic Party candidates, they joined in. There were 100,000 people in Michigan voted uncommitted. We sent them a message.
Yes. Yes.
Y'all know what we Y'all know what our grievances are.
Mhm.
Here's a message.
Mhm.
And see, this is an election time, and that is one lane that we need to take advantage of.
Right. And I know we haven't gotten to the full swing of election season, but it's almost like, to me, they just take Flint for granted. We know they're gonna vote Democratic. We're gonna tell them we're gonna fix the streets and do a couple of things for them. But it's like they send money here. They get people that look like us
Mm-hmm.
to try to talk them up.
Mm-hmm.
We hardly ever see the candidates. They come do a rally. They have their people out in front that they pay to come and cheer, and then they go away, and we don't see them until the next election.
That's true.
So when they come here, like you said, we need to ain't no more rallies. We need to sit down and talk.
Absolutely. And we got an agenda, madam or sir. This is the agenda for Flint. Because, and I think during the course of the 10 years, I think um, we got a little passive because we felt like, okay, well, the lawsuit going on,
Lord, I
and
forgot about that.
we got that, the prosecution going on and all. So we was kind of hung back, waiting, thinking that we were gonna get some results.
Yes, ma'am.
But now that we see we don't, it's time for us to step up our activity and our agendas.
Mhm.
Yes,
Yeah.
we got a lot going on. We got the settlement. There's $47 million of interest from the $600 million settlement.
You know, I said it the last time. I said, I wonder what they gonna do with all that interest money. And it seemed like 3 weeks later, I seen an article where the attorney said, "What y'all gonna do with all that interest money? We want some of that too."
Mm-hmm. But that's where we come in. That's like you playing uh uh spades.
Mhm.
It's your turn. It's your move.
I like that.
It's
I
your
like
move.
that. Yeah.
It's you up next.
Right. Right.
Okay.
Right.
So we up next.
Mhm.
Oh, you got $47 million? We trying to organize some things to demand that not one penny of that interest money go to the attorneys.
Mhm. We need that.
We can do that.
Yeah, we can.
We can do that. We Flint.
Right.
Y'all poisoned the wrong city.
Mhm.
That's what we see it.
It
Oh,
seems-
y'all should have never poisoned. Y'all poisoned Flint. Uh-oh. You poisoned the wrong city. Y'all playing us short. Y'all
Yeah.
playing us cheap.
Yes. And it seemed like they know that. It seemed like they almost know. It's been 10 years, Miss Claire.
Mm-hmm.
Like, though, they ain't gonna do nothing.
Mm-hmm.
They gonna do a couple marches. They gonna have a commemoration every year,
Mm-hmm.
and then they gonna go back and not talk about it until next April.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think that they can think whatever they want. It's about what we gonna do.
Right.
I don't care what y'all think.
Mhm. So, do you think going to the Capitol, does that make a difference, or we need to bring these elected officials here and sit them down at a table we create?
We need to do all of that.
Okay.
But we need to come together and say, this is our agenda. You can't get our vote if you don't do ABC. Don't come tell me what you think I want to hear. Because one of the things about the 10 years is that it's true nothing has happened, but we've learned some things too.
Mhm.
We've learned that, oh, see, we had a Republican, he was a toxic, vicious, uh, inhumane, and everything. He allowed people to die and all this stuff. So we took another route and got the Democrat. What did they do? Screwed up the criminal cases,
Mhm.
gave us their little paltry 600 million. So we don't have no friends.
Well, they ain't give us nothing. We ain't got nothing yet.
Yeah, right. But I'm just saying, we don't have no friends in either party per
Right.
se when it comes to our issues,
Right.
but we're bipartisan on the fact we want clean water, we want health care. They've a lot they a city that was poisoned in Libby, Montana.
Yes, I heard about just heard about that last week.
Yes, they got health care regardless
Universal
of
health
age.
care.
Yeah,
Hmm.
universal health care. We've been seeing that all along.
Hmm.
So um, it's time for us, Flint. It's time for us to step up and be Flint. See,
And we got a want for self. Right.
they ain't seen Flint
Oh, we just gave him a little
since,
touch.
yeah,
Just a
they
little
ain't
touch.
seen Flint, but we know who we are.
Absolutely. You're absolutely correct.
Mhm.
And now this is the question, and I'm glad I have you on here. Look, I'm leaning. Look, when you like somebody, you lean in towards them because you like to hear what they're saying. What happened? Like you said, you were brought up in the 60s. It was strong. People were strong. They
Mhm.
stood behind what they said and they meant it.
Mhm.
And they demanded from politicians, and the politicians delivered.
Mhm.
Where do you think we lost course at or got off track?
That is a very difficult question.
Is it a
But
generational thing or
well, let's remember we and I don't have no final answer on that, but
I just want your opinion? Yeah.
yeah, but one of the things we enjoyed the benefits of what was won for so many years, and we kind of got out the fight. Okay, we had, look at Flint. Like I said earlier, the highest paid black workers in the world
Was
lived
in
in Flint,
Flint.
Michigan. Do y'all believe that? We had the good life. It was 7 of us. We never had a day of hunger. We didn't know what hunger was in that context.
Right.
So we we had benefit from the struggles. Uh, Voting rights was expanded. Uh, Civil rights, there were some, not, we haven't got there yet with equal justice, but there were some. But now things are turning back. Things that were won are being dismantled.
Yes.
They down there in Georgia, uh, uh, dropping people off the voting rolls. Things are going into a backward way. The manufacturing, the jobs we once held at General Motors, they either gone south and overseas for cheaper labor, or they're becoming what? Robotized.
Yes. Yes.
So we're going into a backpedaling situation due to those kinds of things. So I foresee a reawakening of the people in this, under those circumstances. That's what I see.
Okay. I want to see it too. I want to see the people. I want to see us to awaken and stay woke. That's what I want to see. I want to get your input, your opinion on this whole redistricting. What do you think
Of this
about
in the city?
in the city? It seems like I'm not gonna curse, but it was real. It was a cluster mess
Absolutely.
and a ball of confusion. I do believe that it's a form of voter suppression.
I agree.
You're throwing so many balls at us. We don't know which one to catch, and we getting hit by everything.
Well,
What's your take?
I don't really know how this all came about.
Me
It's
either.
just, I had to go to the primary and drive way over to Haskell to vote in the primary.
What ward are you in, Miss Claire?
I'm in the second.
Okay.
But I'm
Okay.
on the edge. I'm on the edge of the second.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay.
On right off of King.
Okay.
But I do think that our elected of the people who is responsible, our clerks and what have you, has dropped the ball and got us into a and this is the other thing. I was involved in getting some signatures just a few months ago, and I ran into so many. Well, a number of young people that said to me, "I can't sign that because I'm a felon." They don't know they can
Don't even know their
vote.
rights. Right.
See, and I I I hold us community responsible for
Yes,
that.
you should.
I
All these
hold
reentry programs.
we have got to get the message out, but we also got to uh sit down and define what good is voting, because some people think it don't do no good.
You're right.
What do I have to gain from voting?
I had a guy that I used to work with. Every election, I would go around the office. Don't forget to vote.
Mm-hmm.
Today is voting day. Exercise your right to vote. And he would ask me, why should I?
Mm-hmm.
It's just going to go to the electoral college if it's for
Mm-hmm.
the presidential race.
Mm-hmm.
My vote doesn't matter. What do you
Mm-hmm.
think about that?
Well, here's what I think, and this is what I say when people say stuff like that. We can't afford to turn down every tool and opportunity we got to let our voice be heard. And that's just one. Because I'm not going to get out here and tell people if you vote, that can no, it's only so much a vote can do. But that's a tool in the toolbox, and we dare not pass up every opportunity to make our voices heard.
You're right. You're absolutely right. So, what else, Miss Claire McClinton, want to talk about tonight?
Well, I'm telling
Because
you,
you've been spot on with everything, and I'm really enjoying this conversation. Do we have some questions for Miss Claire? As I'm trying to read Mickey, I don't have Mickey here, so I have to just read if y'all put it in here. Any questions for Miss Claire? Yeah, we got that. We all have that one woke cousin that don't vote. You right about that.
yeah.
Miss Claire, do you think that they will ever get around to fixing the pipes, or do you think that's just another strategy to run people out of Flint?
I think that they will get around to it depending on what we do. See, let's not underestimate our role in all of this or our lack of a role. Um, if if we say fix the pipes and we go out there and do what need to be done to make that, and see, that's a good issue for this upcoming election.
Mhm.
You know, uh we shouldn't be I don't know the status of the infrastructure bill, but we need some infrastructure to finish up what was started, because it's not just the pipes, but it's also the water mains that that go down the street. It's the interior plumbing. uh, Melissa Mays talks about that all the time. They had always advocated, it didn't get in the lawsuit, but they've always advocated interior plumbing and water mains. And now that they got this infrastructure, I'd like to find out from our administration, is there any infrastructure money coming to not only finish the pipes that you didn't finish, which is outrageous, but to expand the infrastructure?
Well, just my
Well,
little my eyes, what I seen, because it's always press releases, and the governor put out press releases every day. And when I seen the infrastructure bills that were going to be in the budget, I seen Genesee County on there, but I didn't see anything about Flint and our infrastructure. And like Mr. Sheridan said last week, Flint, and like you said, the height of Flint, highest paid workers, but it was also built for a city of 200,000 people.
yes,
We are down to blocks with no houses on them,
yes,
blocks with one or two houses on them.
yes,
And the water is sitting in these pipes, just becoming stagnated and just
yes,
corroded.
yes.
And we've seen someone had put up a picture, or Mickey put up a picture of a pipe today I've never seen so much crud and just, can you just imagine
Mhm.
ingesting that into your body?
And I do want to share with you guys, the people are still uh, suffering with bad water.
Yes, ma'am.
Um, we ran into a lady who, one lady uh, had hadn't had her water on since 2014.
What?
Another lady came when we were down there when I saw you. A lady had brought her water down there, and little Miss Flint got the bottles out and held them up, took a picture. They looked just like they did at the heights of the water crisis.
My God.
She had them in some, water bottles. She was coming down there to get her water tested. And we got this settlement money. We're
Yeah.
gonna have to
What's your thoughts on that?
on the settlement.
Yes.
Well, we were out there protesting the settlement when they announced it. Okay. Now, right now, and we've already talked about the $47 million in interest.
Yes. Interest alone.
In interest.
Mhm.
And we're gonna have to we having some conversations about having a petition drive for them to not use one penny of that interest money for legal fees.
Mhm.
That's what we that's what we get ready to talk about, letting people know, here we go again. This your money,
Mhm.
you know.
Because if the citizens can't get paid, why should they? And I believe it was Councilman Mays who said it before he passed, and because I didn't know.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's thinking that they're gonna get this big check,
Mm-hmm.
and the children won't get their checks until they're 18. But they have to apply for their money. Who put these conditions on this water set? It's thinking like you 18. Okay, I'm 18. I'm about to go get my money that from when I was breaking out as a child and probably still breaking out, maybe losing a limb. Nobody's gonna know what's gonna happen by the time these children turn 18. But they have to apply to even get what's afforded to them.
Well, we need to do a deep dive into all the if, ands, and buts, and cross the T's and dot the I's on this, on how that, what that looks like once the money is dispersed. But
Mhm.
right now we know that it's 47 million. The adults was the lowest category,
Yes.
and the adults need some more money.
And they knew back then that the doctors weren't writing water is the cause of your rash
They
in
were
medical
not,
records.
absolutely
None
not.
of them. They were
Hmm.
scared to write it.
Hmm. Yeah.
They didn't know what it was.
Yes.
And the ones that did, they didn't want to speak up about it.
No, they didn't. So, but there's then that here we go again. That what we gonna do?
What we gonna do about
That
it?
what we gonna do?
Mhm.
And our council that you some very fine people. What are you gonna do? Because you are the final word on money
Mhm.
that's being spent.
And
And I want to see all the council
Mhm.
people. And I ain't in love with some of them,
I get it.
but it's time to step up.
Mhm.
We need leadership
I get it. And I
around
don't
here.
want to hear we don't have the votes.
That's
Let's
that
see how the people gonna vote. Put it on the table.
that's
Yes.
unacceptable.
Yes.
Because if you don't have the votes, let's see who voting
Yes,
wrong,
Miss
and
Claire.
then we can go
Yes.
out there and get rid of them. Let's see what the see when we get to the what, then we can go get the
Who?
who.
That's it. That's it. I like that. I like that. I like that. Miss Claire, it's been such a pleasure sitting here with you
Well,
today.
thank you. And I
I really
have to
enjoyed our
say that the
conversation.
810, I'm telling you, as much as, and I shouldn't say that because it doesn't sound good. I hate to drag myself out there to them council meetings sometimes. But the thing of it is you all are doing a great public service by recording those meetings, and even the ones that people don't normally go to, ethics and accountability. And they tell their own story,
Yes, they
and
do.
you all make that possible. So I appreciate what you all do
Thank you so much.
for the
Thank you.
community. It's a
Thank you.
community thing.
Yes,
It's
it
what
is.
you're doing. A
Mhm.
public service
Mhm.
is what you're doing. So thank you.
It's in my DNA.
All right
It's
now.
in Mickey's DNA.
All right now.
Like you said, when you got it in you, can't nobody take it away
That's
from you.
right. That's right.
I ain't no outsider. I'm
See,
from Flint.
that's right. That's right. We
We
Flintstones. Y'all better be
Flintstones. They
careful now.
better recognize. Um, so how are you feeling? I'm trying to give a couple seconds for Mickey to walk through the door so he can end this. How are you feeling about the elections that are coming up, the May 7th, next Tuesday?
Oh, well, I'm already happy because the person that was there is gone. So that's
Okay, so
already
you're already
you're
happy, right?
already up. I'm
Okay.
already up on that.
Mhm.
You know. So uh I'm hoping that the people in the Ninth Ward do the right thing, but regardless of what happens, uh, for me, I'm waiting. I'm wanting all of the people to step up in this time frame we got. I'm sorry, we don't have a lot of time for training and all that. The clock is ticking.
Absolutely, it is.
The clock is ticking.
Now,
You know.
if we have viewers that want to go hear more about you and find out more about the Democracy Defense League, where can they find you at?
Well, we do have a Facebook page.
I'm a part of it.
Yes. And we also invite you to go to a uh, a Facebook called uh, Flint H2O Justice.
Oh,
Flint
okay, that's a new
H2O
one.
Justice.
Okay.
And we haven't always been keeping it up and all that kind of stuff, but now we're going to be doing more things and
Okay.
sharing more information on that page. And also, you can go to Claire McClinton.
Just Claire McClinton.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Yes.
Well, thank you so much again for just gracing the A10 studios. It's my first time sitting down with you. I hope it's not the last.
All
You
right.
are always welcome here. And it was just a pleasure meeting you.
Well, thank you. I'm feel honored to be on the big 18. On the big 18.
Mickey, did you have any questions for Miss Claire before we got out of here?
No, that's Mama Claire. I can't. I just was listening to y'all on my way back here.
Okay.
She's a wealth of knowledge.
Yeah, I really had a good
That's why I be
time.
liking it. People of her stature get them on who really know Flint and
Yes.
fighting.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? They ain't, they've been doing this a
long time. She said a long time.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. See, a lot of people don't know the history.
Mhm.
We got the baby history of it. So,
Right.
you got to go get people who was back there. You know what I'm saying? That's why I be loving when I see her talk anyway.
Mm-hmm. Really enjoyed you. Really enjoyed you.
Well, you're almost family, so
yes, that's what I'm saying. I've been knowing her.
Get them little kudos.
Oh, for sure. Like I said, she's been doing it a long time.
Yes, she has. Yes, she has. And I appreciate you. We all appreciate you. And we're gonna see you down at council soon.
Yes.
Demanding for some more money.
Oh, we gotta do a big push with these few months left.
Okay.
We got to grab our what we got coming. And in talking with people, even about the settlement thing, they said, well, I'm not going to call, and I must say this before we go.
Yes, ma'am.
Any of y'all that has signed up for the settlement, contact your attorney ASAP. Some of the things that's holding up the payouts is because some of the attorneys is looking for their clients. Their clients have moved or they can't get in touch with them. And I'm not saying that's the total reason,
Right.
but get in touch with your attorney. Talk to your neighbors and family. If they sign up, tell them to get in touch with their attorney ASAP to accelerate this process.
Okay.
And I wanted to make sure I shared that before we left.
Any one more second before we get off, any upcoming events or anything that we need to know about besides the election, which is next Tuesday? Anything else happening in the city?
No, not that I can can think of
Okay.
offhand. Just we gotta vote, but there are, look to hear, and it will be publicized in the future. We're gonna have these meetings with these people that want to get elected.
Mm-hmm. They're gonna have to come to our table.
Okay.
All right. Thank you all for joining us tonight. I hope you enjoyed this interview with Miss Claire McClinton as much as I did. And we will see you tomorrow at 9 a.m. on the bump. Have a good one.
Peace.